217A, M, Caribbean Sea. A single flickering blip on a pitch-black radar screen. A decision made in seconds born from panic. 15 minutes later, the $13 billion domain of the USS George H. Woodbridge is a twisted, burning block of steel. This was not an act of war. It was a catastrophic miscalculation. An ambush triggered by an A2AD system. The American supercarrier is bleeding out, but the retaliation will not come from the rest of the fleet. It will come from the shadows, delivered by a ghost. Let's be clear, what you're about to see is a hypothetical analysis. A war game based on current geopolitical tensions. In our scenario, Carrier Strike Group 10 is not looking for a fight. Its official mission is counter-narcotics. Patrolling deep international waters 150 nautical miles off Venezuela's coast. But for Caracas, the calculation is different. Crippling international sanctions and internal paranoia have distorted their perception.
That is not a patrol.
They do not see a patrol. They see a staging ground for invasion. And they respond. Venezuela's most dangerous deterrent, the Russian-supplied K-3 Champs-Bastienpe coastal defense missile system, is online. At La Guaira Naval Base, these weapons aren't on standby. They are at firing readiness. Their combat crews scan the horizon, fingers resting on triggers. Our analysis of how this ignition point was lit begins now. Make sure you're subscribed and all notifications are enabled. You won't want to miss a second of this escalation. 1:45 a.m. The Combat Information Center aboard the U.S. Arleigh Burke DDZ-51 is a world of sterile, silent tension. Cold air, thick with the smell of old coffee and ozone. Men and women in blue digital camo stare into glowing screens. This is the nerve center of the fleet's defense, the shield for the carrier. On the AEG's 9 display, the AN/SPY radar sweeps the Caribbean, showing friendlies and neutral shipping lanes. It's a slow, hypnotic, monotonous rhythm. But in a CIC, monotony is good. Monotony means peace. That peace is about to shatter 150 miles away. In a concrete bunker at La Guaira Naval Base, Captain Rojas of the Bolivarian Navy stares at a different screen. His is a Russian-made radar display, part of the K-3 Champs-Bastienpe system. He sees the American fleet as well, but he doesn't see peace. He sees provocation. A blue force like a dagger pointed at his homeland. His men are tense. They've been on high alert for 72 hours. 1:55 a.m. A new signal appears on Rojas's scope. It lifts off the primary target, the carrier itself. The object is climbing, accelerating. For the U.S. fleet, this is routine. An E-2 Hawkeye, an airborne early warning aircraft, is taking off for a standard patrol. The giant radar dome on its back is essential for airspace surveillance. But to Captain Rojas, that massive radar signature is not a guardian, it's an aggressor. His system, distorted by electronic interference and his own paranoia, misidentifies the E-2 flashing a hostile attack profile. He grabs a secure phone, calling Caracas. The line crackles. "Commando," he shouts. "I have a new contact, large aircraft." It matches an attack profile. It's moving aggressively. The voice on the other end is not calm. A panicked general dragged from sleep hears only the worst. "Captain," the general shouts back, "we are being invaded. You are authorized. Defend the motherland. They must not pass." The line goes dead. 2:01 a.m. Captain Rojas looks at his tactical officer. The decision is his. He is sweating, despite the freezing bunker. He believes he is under attack. He believes he is saving his country. He turns the launch key. Fire. Fire. Outside, the night is torn open. With a deafening roar, 2 P-8 Chamonix missiles, the feared carrier killers, ignite their boosters. They blast out of the tubes, dropping low. skimming just a few yards above the waves, accelerating to Mach 2.5. 2 a.m. Aboard the USS Alberg, calm shatters. Vampire! Vampire! Hostile missiles! The radar operator's voice cracks with tension. 2 sea-skimming missiles. Bearing 180 terminal phase. I repeat, terminal phase. The ship's defense systems react faster than any human. Engaging. The Alberg fires 2 SM-6 interceptors. They leap from the vertical launch cells on pillars of fire. One connects the first Onyx missile, vaporizes in a fireball mid-air. But the second is smarter. It jinks, pulling a brutal high G turn in the final seconds. It evades the interceptor 2:04 a.m. The P-8 Chum Onyx missile slams into the USS George H. Bush. It hits starboard side near aircraft elevator 3. The warhead detonates, ripping a 65-foot hole through the flight deck. Shrapnel tears across the hangar bay, shredding aircraft. Fire erupts. The ship lurches. On the bridge, the captain is thrown from his chair. Below decks, the damage control teams. Steel men slam into smoke-filled corridors. The carrier is not sinking, but it is wounded. It is out of the fight. For the first time since World War II, a U.S. aircraft carrier has been hit by enemy fire. At 3 a.m. in Washington, D.C., a phone rings in the White House. The question is no longer whether the U.S.-China alliance will retaliate. The only question is how brutal the response will be. 4:30 a.m. Washington, D.C. The White House Situation Room is fully activated. President Donald Trump sits at the head of the table, his expression unreadable, cold fury in his eyes. Trump leans forward. They hit a U.S. carrier. They hit it with a Russian missile.
As you can see,
they're telling the world they can strike us.
but the vessel remains stable.
We have to strike back. We have to hit them hard. Their country will reel. We have options. The Secretary of Defense steps in, pointing at the screen. Option 1. A full carrier-based strike. We can move the Truman Carrier Strike Group from the Mediterranean, or use B-2 seconds from the continental United States. But that is an act of war. Total war. This is war. A national security advisor blurts out. Trump raises a hand. Not yet. Not yet. It's an insult. What's option 2? Tomahawks, Kay says. We can have the Arleigh Burke fire its entire loadout clean shot. Striking from afar.
It doesn't send the right message.
But it's impersonal. They might even shoot down 1 or 2. It doesn't send the right message. They won't feel it. Trump nods. I get it. They won't see us. I want them to see us. I want them to know who did it and why.
Option 3.
So what's the real option? Dan. Kay clicks to a new slide. A grainy thermal image of a prop-driven aircraft. Option 3. SOCOM. We use a deniable asset. We send in an AC-130 Ghostrider. The room goes silent. A gunship. It doesn't follow the rules. Mr. President. Kay continues. And that's why it's perfect. They're expecting F-35 seconds. They're expecting stealth bombers. They're not expecting a C-130. It has the longest on-station loiter time of any gunship on Earth. This isn't a shoot-and-scoot missile strike. It's a 1-hour execution. We deploy Spectre 7 1 out of helmet. It will refuel twice over the Caribbean Sea. And it will take position 20,000 feet above them, completely undetected. Trump studies the image. A faint smile. A ghost. I like it. You send that ghost. And you tell them, never touch an American carrier again. You have your orders. General. 3 a.m. The next day, 25 hours after the strike. Venezuela's coastline is dark. Their air defense radars are at maximum output. Scanning for aircraft. Scanning for missiles? They see nothing. They don't know. Spectre 7-1 has been in their airspace for 30 minutes. Flying a wide, lazy circle, a circle of death. Inside the pressurized cabin of the AC-130, the 10-person crew is focused. The fire control officer, the FCO, stares at the glowing thermal screen.
I have eyes on.
La Guaira Naval Base blazes bright white against the cold Black Sea. I have it. The FCO reports. Calm voice. I see the Bastion launchers. That is a clear thermal signature. And I see the main radar dish. They're sweeping. They don't know we're here. Target list confirmed. The pilot's voice cuts through the headset. Spectre 7-1 is on station. FCO, you are free to fire. Engage all targets. The Ghostrider banks. The FCO selects his first weapon. Not guns. Something smarter. Target 1. Main radar. We go quiet. GBU 39. Armed. Release. A small diameter bomb drops cleanly from the wing, sliding away in silence. Seconds later, the FCO's screen flashes white. Hit. Target. Solid hit. The radar's vaporized. They're blind. Good kill. The pilot says, next target. Launcher. Wind. Target 2. Bastion Tel launcher. They're exposed. Switching to the 105. The FCO's hand moves. Target locked. Fire. A deep, bone-shaking thump rolls through the aircraft. A massive M102 howitzer round screams downward. Splash impact. The FCO calls, direct hit. Wait. Wait. Secondary. Secondary. Oh my god. The entire launcher just blew. The missile bay is detonating. On the thermal screen, the target disappears in a sphere of white-hot light brighter than the sun. In just 90 seconds, Venezuela's billion-dollar A2AD system, the same one that struck a U.S. carrier, has been systematically and brutally dismantled. Spectre 7-1 turns its nose toward Florida. Mission complete. But for Venezuela, the bitterest lesson is only beginning. This wasn't a battle. It was a surgical execution. The U.S. China alliance was struck, and it responded. But not with overwhelming force, with escalation. It responded with overwhelming precision. This is the doctrine of surgical dominance. It isn't about conquering a nation. It is about crippling that nation's will, proving that its most expensive defenses are meaningless. And why was the weapon of choice the AC-130 Ghostrider? Why not F-35 seconds or B-2 seconds? Because those are fighters and bombers. Venezuela expects those. Their entire A2AD strategy is built on the Russian K-300, designed to hunt fast jets and fast warships. They weren't looking for a slow-moving, high-altitude transport. The genius of the AC-130 is its flight profile. To a low-fidelity radar, it's just another heavy transport plane, maybe even a commercial flight, until it's far too late. But the second reason is the most frightening. Loiter time. A tomahawk is shoot and forget. It hits and it's over. The AC-130 stays. It circles for an hour. A dark angel of death patient, watching, ensuring every target is not just hit but annihilated.
And that brings us to the third reason.
The third reason, humiliation. Using a prop-driven aircraft, ancient by modern jet standards, to dismantle a nation's most advanced hypersonic missile system, worth billions of dollars, is not just a military victory, it's a strategic insult. 4A. M. Inside the main military command bunker in Caracas. Panic is absolute. A general screams into a phone. Get me Rojas. Get me La Guaira. At once, the line goes dead. He turns to the air defense screens. Pitch black. Data from their most critical coastal radar is gone. Not degraded.
What hit?
Gone. What hit us?
Where are the American?
He shouts. No one can answer. Where are the American planes?
Where are the bogeys?
An operator face pale. Answers. Sir,
I swear to God, there's
we see nothing.
It's totally
Nothing on radar. Absolutely nothing. This is the bitter end. This is the collapse of their A2AD bubble. Fear becomes palpable. If their best weapon can be blinded and destroyed without a single warning, then what else is vulnerable? The power grid, the oil refineries, even the Miraflores Palace itself. They are exposed. Back at the Pentagon, General Dan Cano receives the after-action report. Spectre 7-1 is feet wet. RTB to Herbert Field. All targets neutralized. No return fire detected.
President.
Kane, secure line to the White House. Mr. President, the message has been sent, and I assure you it has been received. The George H.W. Bush is withdrawing, limping toward Puerto Rico for repairs. Venezuela's La Guaira naval base is a smoking crater. The tactical exchange is over. But as the sun rises on a tense new day in the Caribbean, the real question hangs heavily in the air. When a superpower has been wounded and responds with surgical, brutal efficiency, is this the end of the crisis? Or is it only the beginning of a far larger asymmetric war? They provoked a giant, and that giant, instead of starting a war, simply reached out and crushed their most valuable weapon. A casual act of surgical dominance. In 21st century warfare, the boundaries blur. It is no longer ship versus ship or plane versus plane. It is network versus network. A panicked 2-minute miscalculation by a single captain. A misinterpreted attack profile cost an entire nation its strategic defense system. It proves that even the most expensive missile is useless if the sensor guiding it, or the commander issuing the order, is blind. This scenario highlights the terrifying unique power of the AC-130J. But it leaves us with burning questions. What if Venezuela's air defenses had been layered? What if they also had an operational S-400 system? What if their next response isn't military at all, but a wave of asymmetric terrorism impossible to attribute? And perhaps the most important question, has the U.S. Navy's confidence in the invulnerability of its supercarriers just been exposed as a potentially fatal weakness? Tell us your analysis in the comments. Who is truly the winner in this exchange? What should the doctrine be when a supercarrier is hit? Don't forget to subscribe and ring the bell, because in our next analysis, we explore a scenario keeping admirals awake at night. The battle for Taiwan's Strait Doctrine. China's swarm of attack submarines,